Hi Aquarius, here is a general overview of 2015, and there is another video out which is also an overview of 2015 for all the signs and how things might be panning out across the planet as per the aspects. Just a few ideas about just how that might be manifesting from me on that video. There should be a link to that one here, but this one is just for you and your sign. So we have 3 Mercury retrogrades. The timings of those are written on my website, along with a lot of the what I'm going to be telling you here. That's also written up on my website, along with the degrees and the dates. There's going to be 2 solar eclipses in Pisces, right on the cusp of Pisces and Aries on March the 20th, the first one, and that's going to be in your 2nd and 3rd house. This eclipse, which will cover the next 6 months, has got a little bit of slightly confusing energy with it, simply because Mercury and Neptune are very close on the day of the eclipse. So that means that somebody may have got the wrong end of the stick, or you may have had certain information which was unclear, or indeed just was absent, or vice versa, somebody didn't get the clarity from you, or whatever it is. There's just something that might be just sort of hanging in the air a little bit there. But in essence, this is a really lovely energy which allows for change. It allows you to put your foot on the clutch and to change gears. So for you, this will be in the area of quite a material area. This is the time for you to begin making positive changes regarding maybe your domestic basic stuff. Okay, so it can be around property, it can be around finances, but it can also be around siblings, soul brothers and sisters, just, you know, friends, kind of sociably, but also with work. Don't put off contacting that person that you needed to be in touch with any longer. That kind of thing could be going on there for you with that one. And then the second solar eclipse, the second solar eclipse of the year happens on September the 13th in your 8th house, and this is the moment to make moves to do with shared assets or shared property or shared interests within a partnership, or within like a sort of a formal relationship with someone, so that you can review or tweak or sign indeed, or tear up a previous agreement. It will allow for that. This is the energy of change, and it will, as I say, if you do something within the 24 hours, so really within the 12 hours before the eclipse, that's the ideal. Just take one step, even if it's just taking a piece of paper and writing a little note to yourself of something that you want to achieve over that 6 months period in that particular area. That would be enough. We've got 2 really great transits this year in your opposite sign, Leo. Could mean good news for you if you're looking in the love department, and that can be romantic type love or partnerships, close partnerships, but it could also be to do with family, to do with all sorts of other close relationships, and working partnerships and working relationships. So yeah, Aquarius rising, Aquarius moon, and Jupiter has been there since mid-July 2014, and will be in that area until August the 11th and move out. But then Venus is coming in between June the 6th and October the 9th, and that's potentially good news for you. That could give the love life a boost, but any kind of relationship a boost. Venus gracing this area of personal and professional close relationships, easing things, just easing things, sort of allowing for negotiation, opening things up, getting this feeling of goodwill coming towards you, others, you know, being maybe easier to handle, or indeed, as I said, you know, good news in the love department. But it will help boost things materially, particularly I would say after August the 11th, and particularly when Venus joins Jupiter in its next incarnation in Virgo, which will be from October the 9th. So there will be about a 3-week period there from October the 9th with both of them in the following sign, which, as I say, could be good for you materially, could be good for you emotionally. But the whole of your sign will be feeling the influence, the beneficial influence of Venus this year in your opposite sign, but also Jupiter. and then Jupiter moving on August the 11th, in meaning that you can maybe team up with somebody with a joint interest in common, materially, you know, pooling your resources. That might be money, that might be other things. Taking a relationship more seriously, maybe particularly from October the 9th, and that type of thing. So yeah, there's a lot along those sorts of lines for you in 2015. You getting interested maybe in somebody, and somebody getting interested in you who you wouldn't have seen yourself with, somebody from a very different background to you, who has got different ideas on things, but then that makes for it allows for expansion in your life, because they are really quite intrigued with your take on things and you're intrigued in theirs. So there can be a sort of opposites attract mental rapport going on, I would say. But then from August it begins to get a little bit more involved, and then from October it can really get quite sizzly, and that's for about 3 weeks there. So make hay while the sun shines if it's a love relationship, or it can be as I say, other kinds of relationships, and it does not mean that you can only be doing one at a time. Okay, there's a particular time which I made a note of between June the 25th and July the 7th when it looks particularly interesting there, particularly positive, and you could benefit through maybe just the presence or the advice or the contribution of somebody in close relationship, and vice versa. They could very much be benefiting through you, but it's a particularly promising time there. So try and make sure you're in an environment which would allow, you know, for this energy to really deliver to you. Saturn has begun a new cycle, putting herself into a positive angle with your sun sign. So no more that heavy energy that was coming across to your sign from Scorpio, except when Saturn transits back into Scorpio between June the 14th and September the 17th. And then there will be just that little bit in the last degrees of Aquarius, although, as I've said before, the whole sign will feel this. By the way, when I give the dates and the degrees here, that's so that you who know your natal chart will look at the degrees and know if that resonates, if that's going to be resonating with your natal chart, okay? Because it's not just the sun that you can look up for on those degrees, it is other planets. Of course, you need to be an astrologer to know, you know, how much emphasis to apply, but you can find all this stuff out. So if you're interested in enough, you can. And there's plenty of online resources for setting up your natal chart as well, without an interpretation, but just free online resources. So Saturn's in this new area. Now you need to put a steady flow of energy into cultivating other people, you know, making friends and influencing people, cultivating, cherry picking the ones that feel right, and kind of, you know, not dwelling really too much with those who you don't, but you might find, actually, to be honest, okay, you might find that, as a matter of fact, it's even the ones that you wouldn't have a lot of time for, given other choices, that you're going to have to give a little bit more time to. Yes, because with this one here, you are establishing yourself gradually and steadily. So if you've had some knockbacks in 2014, maybe in the career area, with where you saw your sort of goals and ambitions and the directions you wanted to take things, then you're likely to gain ground and pick up the threads of things, but maybe in a different way, because, you know, some knockbacks are really the best thing that could ever have happened, because it got us to think in a different way about what we can do in this world. So you can really start to gradually establish your credibility, your reliability, your competency, whatever it is you want to establish, you know, and cultivate useful contacts who will help you to achieve your goals. Also, you could be collaborating within a group context, and all of you having, you know, having to be very quite disciplined and persevering at learning interesting things and pooling your knowledge there. You could feel sidelined sometimes though with Saturn, because Saturn is the taskmaster and the stress tester. So wherever she goes, we can feel a little bit left out, particularly in a sociable area like this. So just be aware of that. But if you continue to be diligent and, you know, don't be put off, and just get that sort of steely glint in your eye, perhaps, then you can dovetail your own goals and ambitions and hopes and dreams with that of others, enough for you to be able to get on and feel very, very satisfied with your progress. And this can be you connecting with new people who become friends, but also with people in a group dynamic. Maybe there's a competitive edge to it. Maybe maybe this is a very innovative group. Maybe this is an offbeat type crowd. Or it could be lots of things. Anyway, you will be slowly integrating, but except for that period there, except of course it won't switch off like a light. But Saturn will be transiting back into the career area June to 14th of June to the 17th of September, and that's getting you working harder in that area there to establish. So maybe if you're wanting to you know, launch into I don't know, if you want to sort of package or present yourself in a certain way, or launch a new project or whatever, don't expect overnight success if you're doing it between June and September. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Sorry. However, it is, nope, it's gone away. Just maybe, you know, that's the time for kind of putting in the groundwork more. However, having said that, if this is the very, very last gasp of that transit, so if you've already come a long way in the career area and, you know, you're about to sort of, I don't know, do the grand reveal or whatever it is, or take the next crucial step, and all other things considered, it could be okay to do that then. But Saturn there will put down maybe delays and challenges, and maybe you having to tangle with bureaucracy, maybe authorities, maybe whatever, the boss, the teacher, whatever. So just be aware of that between June the 14th and September the 17th. Now, Uranus, your ruling planet, is still working out of Aries, will be there till 2019. And by the way, I should have told you about Saturn. That will be mostly affecting those of you born in the last few days of the sign of Aquarius. So the last 3 days, 4 days, from about the 17th onwards, or from 27 degrees rising, okay? Now, Uranus is in a good angle to your sun sign until 2019, gradually changing the way you think and feel, and even the language you use, the jargon you're using, and you will find that daily encounters are expanding your thinking. You know, some of you could be having more connection with abroad. You could be abroad. This could be about language. This could be about just general mindsets, which might fascinate you. You know, where are these people coming from? Oh, that's interesting. Excuse me. Or it might be something beyond that. You know, it might be something, you might be more interested in the technology side of things and using that, the sciences, you know, quantum physics and all of that kind of stuff. You could get training in something which is unconventional, a bit weird and off the wall, like, you know, astrology. I've said that before, I know, or something else which is even weirder, and there's certainly no shortage of them around. But some of them will last, and some of them, you know, sound therapy or whatever. And some of you could be more interested in off-planet activity. Some of you could be absolutely using your mind to reach those higher dimensions of the human mind and the human nature, and playing with new concepts. And you Aquarians born from the 4th to the 14th of February, or with 11 to 21 degrees rising on of yours. 11 to 21 degrees rising, but also 11 to 21 degrees if your sun or your planets, if you know them, or anywhere near there, then it will resonate in your chart really strongly this year. Neptune is in the sign after yours, and on the mundane level, you just got to be more careful and more boundaried with your finances, but also more there with your generosity and with your practical help to others with your resources, whether they are financial ones or whether they're just from your skills and your talents. And your values will definitely be softening and changing as you get insights, and your eyes will be open, your awareness is expanding into the more subtle realms, and because of that your value structure will change, because I didn't know all of this was here, which is what this is going to sound a bit crazy, but I did actually hear somebody who'd recently passed over, and they did come back and speak to me just for a moment, and they said, you know what, I had no idea all this was here. If I'd have known that, I'd lived my life differently. A bit like Groucho Marx, you know, if I'd have known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. So that kind of thing could be going on there. And those of you born from the 27th of January to the 4th of February, or with 4 to 11 degrees on your sun, 4 to 11 degrees rising, or on the degree of your sun if it's close to that, or any of your other planets if you know them. And I don't think I'm going to keep saying that, it's too complicated. And then of course Pluto is in the sign before yours, so actually you've got a transpersonal sign a transpersonal planet in the sign after yours, and a transpersonal planet in the sign before yours, sandwiching your sun in between. This does mean you are slowly regenerating, to do with the past, to do with ingrained habits linked to the past. You are maybe asking some deeper questions sometimes of yourself. And this is very much an introspective area. And updating outmoded behaviors, you know, that have you falling down the same old hole in the road every single time, you know, like a moth to a flame. There you go again. And Pluto is, yeah, it is the wrecking ball, but it's also the regenerator. So many things will be, you know, water under the bridge, but then there will be this wonderful new dawning coming, giving you a fresh perspective, a fresh kind of approach emotionally. This will be very emotional, and there will be this subtle gear shifting going on deep within you. And you Aquarians born the 4th to the 9th of February, or with 11 to 16 degrees rising, or near your sun or other planets, and I really am not going to be saying that anymore for much, well, perhaps for the next side, but you'll be feeling that the most. I think I'm going to have to put out a separate video about this. That would be the best way to go, wouldn't it? And that's it for 2015. And I wish you just the most amazing, sparkling, I don't know, record-breaking, loving, happy, peaceful 2015, but interesting. And I'll see you again soon.